Where's Specs?
Should be back any minute now.
What is up, everybody? This is OLB One Lucky Bullet here with a review of Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, which just came out earlier this year on the PC, but it's been out on the Xbox One and PS4 since 2016. This is the complete package with all the DLC that's been released so far, so all the sticker packs, little bitty weapons, side stories for your companions that are with you, and the Comrades multiplayer DLC that takes place in the story. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but in the story, near the end of the game, it takes place during a transition period. Final Fantasy 15 is probably one of my favorite games that's came out in the recent years, and it's definitely a step above Final Fantasy 13, which was pretty freaking crappy. I know some people liked it. I don't even understand how it got 2 sequels to it, but it wasn't very good. The game follows Noctis and his 3 companions, which are Ignis, Prompto, and Gladius. It follows their story of everything that happened after the Kingsglaive movie, so you would probably want to watch the movie before you actually play the game, because it gives you really good insight as to actually what happened. So the movie's about 2.5 hours long, but it's really well done for a CG kind of animated movie. So anyway, you start the game as Noctis, and you're leaving Insomnia, which is the kingdom you're from. You're leaving there to go and wed your kind of long lost love, I guess. It's kind of weird, their relationship, considering the fact that Luna Freya's, hasn't seen him but a few times over years, but yeah, whatever. So you're leaving to go marry her and all this, because she's the Oracle and you're the future king and it's to be. But obviously, if you've watched the Kingsglaive movie, then you'll see that this peace treaty between Insomnia and the Empire was a ruse by the Empire, and they, obviously start slaughtering everybody. They bring in their beast and the Magitech and all this, and pretty much wipe everybody out. Well, the survivors going to a different city, and the king dying. So obviously you're dealing with that struggle, and the voice acting and the character progression is spot on. I mean, it's great. You actually can see the growth of Noctis and his companions throughout the whole game. I'm playing this currently on the Xbox One X, running it at 4K and 60 frames a second on performance mode. Don't have a problem with it. It runs great. I've played through it quite a few times, and this playthrough that you're watching kind of is one of my New Game Plus playthroughs. Everybody's not completely maxed out, but I wanted to start it over again and just kind of run with them again. I didn't want to show too much of the stuff later in the game, as some people probably haven't beat the story yet, so I don't like to spoil anything. Some of the worst things, though, with the game, I will say this, is the loading times. Like the loading screens at random times, which I don't understand why, will take every bit of 30 seconds or more, which is kind of a long time, considering the fact that most of the other stuff, there's hardly any loading time. So it's kind of jarring at times when you're not expecting it, especially during the chapter transitions. There's several chapters in the game. I'm not going to go into that, but there's one specific chapter late in the game that, when the game first came out, people complained about it and they cried and they said that they didn't like it and they didn't enjoy it, and it wasn't great. I didn't have a problem with that. I thought it was very well done. I thought the kind of suspense of it was great, and the feeling of loneliness. I thought that was great. But you know, they redid that and they've added a bunch more stuff on. Obviously, they've added more weapons, more spells, you know, new specials that you can do, the ability to take control of your companions mid-fight. Like I said, they added on 3 DLC packs, one for each of your companions, where you play through and see different things from their point of view. Then they added the Comrades DLC, which is multiplayer online, similar to kind of almost like a Monster Hunter-ish, where you're running around, you get a couple friends together, you go and do some quests, you know, kill a big monster, and you're getting resources to help rebuild this area while everything else is going on in the main story. So it's not bad. It's actually very well done. It's really good. And they've came out and they've said that they're going to have more DLC coming out this year, which is kind of nice because this might actually be one of the longest Final Fantasies that's been supported, besides Final Fantasy 14, which is a great game, but obviously it's not on the Xbox. It's only on the PC and PlayStation 4, so one day maybe it'll come on the Xbox. We'll see. But back to the Final Fantasy 15. So the game has an immense amount of side quests and monster hunts and just items, different royal tombs for you to go to, an immense amount of stuff to do, and that leads into one of the other problems that the game has. Is at times it feels really easy, like the game's really easy, and then all of a sudden you'll hit like a difficulty spike and get your ass whipped real quick, and you're just like, well, okay, that was kind of jarring. And sometimes it's not even the bosses that'll give you trouble, it's just random enemies, you know, especially at nighttime, because the game does have a day and night cycle. And obviously during the day the monsters are not near as strong as they are at night, but at night, like, different kind of beasts come out and they're more aggressive. They're called daemons or demons, but a lot more vicious, a lot more tougher to deal with. The graphics in this game, they're great. I have no problem with them. The sound is great, the controls are great, the fluidness of the combat is excellent. It's almost like a hybrid mix of the Final Fantasy 12. You know, it kind of plays like that, where you're controlling one character, but you know you can bounce it around, and you're doing that. Think of it like a Tales series kind of game. You know, the game has a lot of inspiration, I would say, from Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 6 with the Magitech, and even the name of the empire is Niflheim, which kind of ties into Nibelheim from Final Fantasy 7 and Narshe from Final Fantasy 6 and the Empire from Final Fantasy 6 that had the Magitech armor. So it's all like, looks like it ties together, but it doesn't. But it'd be kind of cool if it did. But I really thoroughly enjoy the game. The only two gripes that I've had was the occasional difficulty spike and the loading screen. Other than that, gameplay's fine, the game runs fine. There's plenty of depth here for you. There's plenty of DLC here for you. I mean, the main story you can run through in probably 20-25 hours. If you do all the side quests and monster hunts and everything, you're looking at 60-70 hours, and that's not even counting the new game plus that, you know, they're talking about putting in. So I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a very well done game. I think it's definitely worth the $50 asking price that they're asking now for the Royal Edition if you don't own the base game. If you own the base game, you can actually get the Royal Edition add-on, which is like a new vehicle for you, and a few other things. You can actually get that added on for like $15. So not great, or you know, not bad. But all in all, great game, definitely worth the purchase. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll do this again on the next one. Thanks a lot.